All right. Good evening, everyone. We are back again. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. What we're going to do right now is show our intro video. That way you can like, share, and comment in the comment section. We need you in the comment section. All right. So this is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
not guilty
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
The Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. Our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
All right, we are back. Hey, I didn't put my hat on. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. I could go without it until the commercial break. Where we come to you live, we stream live from my branch library where they roll out the red, black, and green carpet every week so that we can come to you live and talk about the things that we've done regarding social justice and advocacy and other things, the things that we've done last week, some of the things that we're working on right now, which is one of our summer concerts, all right? And some of the things that we got coming up in the future, which may be the Lucas County Commissioners Forum. Let's do some intros. I'm Brother Washington Muhammad, one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bey. 10 years ago, they came up with the idea of community solidarity and just regular people could speak truth to power. You don't have to be a professional preacher, pastor, or politician. Grab yourself a bullhorn and some facts and get it in. And what am I wearing today? Today I have on my white linen shirt. I've got my brown rim glasses on. I'm kind of, I'm a middle-aged to older gentleman, brown skin, pretty much in good shape. I've got my beats on. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. Jody, I think that I've done my intro. If you could do your intro, we'll start with our mission statement. I'll come back with the guiding principles. And we've got some Black Lives Matter moments that we're going to do today. CSRN, if you look in our label, we are 10 years. This will be our 10th year organizing together. That's a mighty long time. So we're doing our 10-year victory lap. Next year we'll do our 11-year victory lap if the universe, is willing. We'll do that. So who are you? What are you wearing today? All right. You got your vote pin on. All right. Hope that ain't one of those, what they say, a black job. Come on, man. You missed me with that. I'm like, man, come on. Well, that ain't my
brain blanked on so many other
that
words.
Ain't my job to pick a Lucifer or Satan. That ain't my job. That's never been my job. All right, let me stop.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, I should turn my mic off.
Child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth, the treasurer of this wonderful organization that, as Mr. Brother Washington said, however that came out, 10 years. A decade is a long time to do anything. I don't know a lot of people that manage to do, 10 years of the job.
That's right.
10 years taking care of themselves right.
That's a relationship. All right.
10 years actually doing much of anything. People start diets, end them tomorrow. People get cards and lease them next week. It's a lot of things that you do not see go on past a decade. And then I'm thankful to be a part of this organization as it's evolved it from one level to another without having to sacrifice who we are at our core. We're not gimmick people. We're not ambulance chasers. We're not instigators. We will show up on your lawn, but we're not those people that are trying to start. Yeah, that one song. We didn't start the fire. Yeah, all that stuff. But we'll be there to put it out or maybe to help.
That's right. That's right. I like that. That's that part right there.
So, and again, for all of the listeners and people that have followed us for the past decade in one iteration or another, we thank you for watching. Those of you out there listening, because we're not a Facebook live show, we're not a sponsored show or anything like that. We take the time, energy, and our resources to make sure this happens.
That's right.
To make sure we have our StreamYard and our podcast, that we don't get Zoom bombed, and upgrade our equipment as necessary based on your comments. So if you got any comments, you want to know anything about the show, leave them right down there. But section is where we tell our Spotify, is that Spotify? Yeah, Spotify people who just can only hear our voices. I am a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and stones and bones and artifacts from meeting people in this journey. When I started, I had none of this. And these are people that I've met, people that we've organized with, or I've performed with, doing all the other stuff. I'm always in a double-breasted shirt that also carries treasures you may never see. And I'm wearing a Sonia Organics.
Okay.
You gets to see the stuff under the change. Sonia Organics Urban Holistics shirt, which they celebrated their anniversary last month on the 22nd of being 5 years I guess old.
That's right.
And all that stuff. So that is a little bit about me. Yeah, and I always wear branding and hats, and that's my staff back there that gets to travel all around the world. Also, when you see me on the phone, I'm the guy. If you see it in a group or stuff like that, I'm the guy that's posting that because I'm not paying somebody
That's
to do
right.
what we can do ourselves. I hate the mentality of just make it easy for me because it's not. There's a lot of things going on in the world and stuff that you would be point and click at, but it takes so many more people to do that one simple job than you just going out into the world and learning how to do it. Doesn't matter how many times you fail because that's the process. You're going to make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect at something. So anyway, how do you get to that point? Because in the beginning, we had a lot of distractions and people who claimed to be positive, but really had their own agendas. And we had to come up with a foundation and walls, which we made our mission statement and
the guiding principles.
And that's how we've continued when we are no longer here. There may be amendments and stuff like that. We've amended and grown over these last 10 years to even include the wealthy, which,
that's right.
You know, in the process of doing something long enough, if you're good at it, you might become wealthy. Not saying that's a destined thing, but you just might if you stick to your goals with consistency. So this is our mission statement, how we used to start our meetings. And now I am the voice of the organization, I guess you could say, that gets to recite these awesome words.
That's right.
We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, yes, most often, police brutality goes without consequence or accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate community progressive-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable, yes, accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice provided equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter. Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
All right, we're going to leave that mission statement up. We said that we're going to do our Black Lives Matter moment. Some of the things that you think that have stood out for you over these past 10 years, if you could pick something.
Fruitvale Station.
Okay, you got to tell people, what is Fruitvale Station?
Well, there's been so many names, and you know, I'm as an activist. It's kind of, since there's been nothing big with chants or anything like that, you could kind of think of the names that was part of those chants.
Okay,
and when all this stuff, again, 2020 was not the revolution. Y'all was about 5 years, maybe 6, too late. So we wanted to do a outdoor theater. Again, there's some now that's going on. Shout out to Tracy Haynes and Monty for doing the, I can't think of the name, my brain blank, but they're doing the events throughout the community parks with the city to give kids film festivals that are children friendly. Ours was not. Ours was to make a point about a young man that had been murdered on the subway, as much as I can remember of that film, and we wanted to do it for free. You know, me and Brother Washington.
Yeah.
I think maybe one other guy that came by rode his bike and was like, "Y'all doing awesome." Helped us. But we grabbed a 20-foot scaffolding.
We called it Black Lives Matter Theater.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we grabbed 20 foot of scaffolding put that together ourselves. We grabbed a tarp. We got a projector. Some people came with some food. We went down to the market on Nebraska and got some fruits and stuff. And we had a community event. We didn't ask for permits. We didn't ask if it was okay. We posted it on our page, told our community about it, and they showed up. And we played a movie that is part of the revolution itself, about a young man, again, that was killed in New York at the train station. And right?
No, that was Oakland.
That was Oakland.
It was Oakland.
Okay. Fruitville Station is still the train station.
Check that out.
You know what? There's a lot that's going on in the movement.
Check that out.
I feel like I got egg on my face right now, but that's okay. That was our first movie, though, was Fruitvale Station. I know it had something to do with the train station and a black man and police injustice and stuff. So,
but hold on, nobody was doing anything like that.
No,
this was
actually there was protests, there was marches, there was some. We are famous Monroe and Detroit, but nobody was actually trying to engage back with their community.
Yeah,
that wasn't a protest. So we did a give back, our time, our energy, and our resources, and we did several other. We brought Chirac here when that movie came out at the Ohio Theater. We did our own movie. Shout out to Ruth Leonard and
Black Men Unfiltered.
Yep.
And don't forget, what else did we do, man? We've done a lot. You almost made me forget. I Am Not Your Negro.
Yes, I Am Not Your Negro. I almost forgot about that too. Yeah. So we did that in partnership with the old administration, I believe it was, at the Lucas County Library Museum of Art.
And look, and since we're talking about Black Lives Matter moments, and we're going to do our guiding principles. I've got a Black Lives Matter moment. And don't forget Black Lives Matter Theater, from Hebrews to Negroes.
Yeah. So we've done like 7 or 8 films.
And this probably was the most, it had to be the most blackest Black Lives Matter theater. Just imagine its family. And I'm glad we're on a B camera, because if you can see my face, I'm kind of tearing up a little bit, because we so black, we so strong, we so for our people, that we reached out to the Nation of Islam here in Toledo to show Hebrews, from Hebrews to Negroes, at the mosque, and have our Black Lives Matter group host it.
Yep.
So look, man, so Jody hosted it. This was probably one of the few events that I wasn't able to make. How am I not going to make the Nation of Islam? Well, anyway, hey, it's all good. And it was a success, because we wanted to have it at one of the local libraries. We scheduled it, and somebody made a phone call, and they called me and said, "Hey, Brother Washington, man, we can't show this here." So we reached out to the Nation of Islam, where that's where it goes down. So Black Lives Matter Theater, Black Lives Matter moment. Hey, we're going to get into our guiding principle. That's the thing that holds us together, because Jody could be doing this by himself. I could be doing this by myself, and others that are with us, they could easily be doing their activism by themselves. But we found a way, thanks to Jabril Bey and Mike Leonardi, we found a way to kind of synthesize everyone, to have a space where all of us could use our gifts and talents in the way of social justice and have it come together. But we had to have something in place so that we don't implode. All right. With your personality, my personality, and others, man, that's like a recipe for disaster. So here are our CSRN guiding principles. All Black Lives Matter, queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, wealthy Black lives, differently able Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black Lives Matter, and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe.
Ashe.
And Ashe means one who changes a thing, or one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe?
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be a part of our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe?
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe?
Ashe.
Principal struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe?
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in everything that we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe?
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe?
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe?
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe?
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe?
Ashe.
So my Black Lives Matter moment is something that we're forming right now. We've got maybe 99% of it together, and it's called the our Community Solidarity Police Accountability and Review Council, or better known as CSPARC. Family, we've done practically everything proactive, reactive, and properly planned in regards to law enforcement engagement in our community. It has to be another way forward to be treated with respect and humanity. We'll begin discussions of implementing our own independent citizen review board. Family, what happens most times is whenever there's a civilian review board, it's put together by the city of wherever you live. That will be the city of Toledo in the police department. So it's hard to believe that you're going to get justice when it's time for us to question the behavior of law enforcement. So we've gone down that path before. We've met, we've networked Jody, we've shook hands, and we've done everything, but still no justice. So my Black Lives Matter moment is the fact that we put together our own independent citizen review board. So what does that mean? If it means that there are police officers that are acting outside the color of law, then there's a response that we can do. We can either strive to have them subpoenaed, we can sanction them. So you might ask, well, what does that mean, Brother Washington, when you sanction police officers? Well, the same way when you have a sexual offender notification in the mail that someone that's been charged with a sexual offense, whatever that is, you get notified that they're in your neighborhood. Well, when we have some bad actors on our police force, then you should be notified in your community that there's someone that's acting outside the color of law, that you could be aware that there are police officers that are not meeting the basic minimum of service. And there's some other things that we're going to strive to do, but just so that we can redistribute the pain, we can redistribute the anxiety. If we have some sleepless nights, then somebody
come up with our own corrupt cop book.
Yeah, we can come up with our own. Right. Well, we're going to have their faces on those community notifications. So when they act outside the color of law, and our committee has determined, yes, officer, whatever has been deemed to act outside the color of law, here's what's going to happen. So our community will know so that they can be aware. And that way, before a police officer decides to act other than themselves and outside their professional standing, they'll think twice. All right. So that's in place. We will be meeting to discuss the recent incidents in the city. And if we have to charge or if we have to make a complaint to have that officer charged, even though they may have qualified immunity, that can only go so far. But we need to take the reins on this. We can't ask or expect somebody to do something that we're not willing to do for ourselves. So that is our C-SPARC. That's the Community Solidarity, Police Accountability, and Review Council. That's CSPARC. Be looking for that. And if you live in your own city and you're listening to this and you want to know how to develop your own independent police review board, inboxes, we'll show you how to do it. But just have a couple of people like Jody with you and have some people that aren't willing to bend over backwards. Have people that aren't afraid to stand up for what you know is right. The last thing we need to do now is to have people with us that still want to negotiate their freedom and responsibility. So, hey, look, that's my Black Lives Matter moment. Some of the things that we have coming up. What we're going to do right now, Jody, is take a short break.
Very short break, and then get to our special
guest.
guest.
Man, I cannot wait to talk with our brother. You already saw him in our title of who we have today. So let's take a short break. We're going to come back. I don't know what we're going to. Oh, I'm going to take a short break with Avis Files and Brothers. Is it Brothers United?
Yep, Brothers and Sisters United.
Oh, brother. Okay. No, man, it's everything changing. All right. Hey, listen, this is the CSRN podcast, a weekend review. We'll be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. This program has fatherhood classes which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it. We have to breathe it. We have to do it. We have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life would say because of where I come from, what I've been through, I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
And shout out to Brothers United, man. Be you.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, where we come to you live from Mott Branch Library. So shout out to the staff at Mott Branch for always making things available to us. And yeah, can't say enough about Mott Branch Library. Shout out to Brothers and Sisters United for their great work in the community. For their fatherhood initiative programs that they do, and Sister Avis Files and her husband and everybody that's involved with that organization. They keep they keep the work going, and big shout out to them. If they get another commercial, we probably play that too, because that's what we do, promote our own. If nobody else is going to do it.
If you're watching currently right now and you have a 30-second, 15-second, 10-second, something that is community-based and positive, we would love for you to send us the link. We'll add it into our rotation.
All right. Speaking of rotation, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, we met a young man. His name is Omar Gent. Let's bring him into the chat right now. We met this brother when he was in Colorado. He was a confined citizen, and he would call into our live meetings. That was before COVID, when we were meeting live, and he would give us the update on what's happening in the prison industrial complex. And while he was doing that, he would also inspire us that would be sitting around the table. We would have my cell phone. He would call in my cell phone, and I think I would be playing Mobb Deep's Quiet Storm. That was my ringtone back then. I need to get back to that. So, hey, listen, let's welcome our brother Omar. Brother, how you feeling?
Wonderful. Thank you, Brother Jody, Brother Washington, and your team for having me back on. This is home for me. And that intro with the late, great Martin Luther King, man, that really, I'm working my way through that, boy. Did y'all really put that together? That got me feeling more inspired, brought me to tears, got me hyped up. I'm just ready to do this interview, ready to do the work. I'm like, man, I'm grateful to be here, brother. I'm grateful to be here, to say the least.
All right. Now, for the people that don't know you, where are you from? Where have you been? When was your release date? I know it's a lot. Where were you? How long were you there? When was your release date? And then I want to ask you, what's kept you out here? So where were you and how long were you there, brother?
Ooh, thank you for those. Those are the
come on. I'm loving it, man.
My name is Omar Gent. I go by the name the Bold Lion Warrior. Born and raised in Florida. I'm finally back home through the grace of God, the grace of the Creator. It's wonderful to be here. I went to Colorado 14 and a half years ago, a little bit longer. Got framed and railroaded for aggravated robbery. Went to the prison system, studied the law, and found out how they were railroading people to prison in violation of their own constitution and laws. That's what my website, freeurbrothers.com, is about. in the process of learning the law, I learned more about myself, learned more about our people, learned more about different groups of people in the history when it comes to, original people, Black people, indigenous people, and us begin to be more of aware and more of a activist and begin to mature as a man. I'm back home now in Florida, like I said.
Yes, sir.
Basically, I'm just here, and I was released October in 2023, officially. Spent a year and a day and a half at house, a year and a day. The
Yes,
exact.
sir.
It was supposed to be a 6 month process. That's a whole nother story right there.
No, dog. No, sir.
See how people do things to derail you and use your try to use your frustration in the whole profile of the Black male being a overgrown child, can't emotionally regulate, can't deal with adversity, who's easily manipulated. You see how they try to use that against you. So through the grace of the Creator and tuning into your powerful show, thank you for giving me a platform. Thank you for encouraging me, because calling in and being with you all for those 20-minute segments and talking to you after the show and building with Brother Jody really helped me. So hope I answer all those questions in that. Thank you all.
Oh, absolutely. Now, you talked about your website, freeourbrothers.com, and we have it up here on the screen. What can people expect if they log on to freeourbrothers.com?
You can sign a petition, and it's helped me get the word out about the unlawful imprisonment that the state of Colorado is imposing upon brothers and sisters there. Like it says, slavery is still alive. That's all across the nation, but supposedly in Colorado a few years ago, they said they made an amendment to end prison slavery. And what the website is pointing out is that that's not true. What they're doing is going around their own state Bill of Rights. The joke was amongst the circle, is it the Bill of Rights or Bill of Elite Whites? Elite Whites, WHITES, because
yes, sir.
Those were the only certain people that were getting in the grand jury indictment, as explained by the website. Basically, in Colorado, you have to, in order to have a lawful felony, you have to go through the grand jury process. And I'm not saying, to those who know what the grand jury is about, I'm not saying that it is the answer to everything, that I would have had a just outcome if my case would have went to the grand jury. What I'm saying is, in mass, collectively, the state violates people's rights to a grand jury indictment, which is the most basic a prerequisite in order for prosecutors to bring felony charges in the state of Colorado. And when they go around that, whether the person's innocent, guilty, or deserving of lesser charges, the state is in violation of violating due process of law, its own protocol. So therefore, in that act, they create the criminal act, accusing someone of a criminal act. So how can a criminal from the beginning accuse someone of a criminal act and come out with clean hands in the transaction? So that's what it's about, and showing people how the slavery system that has been established there is about profit, and it's about terrorism, judicial terrorism. And I've seen a lot of brothers, and even when I was incarcerated, I was talking to some of the sisters in different prisons that have a lot of time in Colorado behind this massive lockup machine. So I wanted to bring that out, and that's my duty. I've been pushing a very long time. I'm not going to give up on it.
All right. One of the things that I talked to you earlier, I wanted to ask you the question, because recidivism is high. That's when people like us, we get out, and within a few months or so, we go back. What's kept you, brother? What's kept you on this side? It's been maybe about, has it been almost a year now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. What's kept you?
The grace of God, first and foremost, the grace of the Creator, whatever name you want to refer to God, Allah, Yahweh, Universal Spirit, the Great Spirit. He's always been there for me. And this, like the late great Martin Luther King said at the beginning of your powerful intro, going into yourself and using that pen to form your own Emancipation Proclamation, and doing that for yourself, liberating yourself, because we can point at the system's not doing this, they're not doing that. But when you're in that situation and you have so much time on your hands, really got to build your own program that starts with doing for self, educating yourself about the power that you have within, and building your own program, getting those self-help books, learning about
Right.
history, getting versed to what's going on in the world, and having that head start and that ambition day in and day out for over 14 years, reading things like the Final Call newspaper, powerful articles in there. It goes inside you, it changes you. Meditating about your role as a man in the forward progress of the community, forward progress with our women, forward progress with our children. You get out, you got nephews, you have, different responsibilities. So when I began to look at myself in the mirror, sometimes literally looking at myself and asking myself, what are you going to do to take this situation that you're in and reverse it, redistribute the pain? Because the pain can drive you to quit, tap out, and be what they want you to be. Or you can look yourself dead in the eyes and say, you know what, I'm not going to give up. And that was my one of my greatest motivating factors, the creator, building my own program, doing for self, and this telling myself, even when I got frustrated, very frustrated, that you can't play into the hands of the great script they have for you of destruction.
Now, you talked about looking in the mirror, and sometimes self-improvement, even though it's an inside job, a lot of us may not want to go that route. How difficult was it for you to actually look in the mirror and say, hey, look, what are you going to do? What was that like with you?
Well, like I said, when you're reading things like speeches of the late great Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Maya Angelou, the Final Call newspaper, and you're reading these writings, especially from people like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And sometimes I love the minister, and he would say some things that were really, it would get into your spirit as a man. It could hurt your feelings and it hurt your ego, but you got to hold yourself accountable if you want to evolve and move forward. So being in a situation where you're looking around, you're seeing all this hopelessness. You got people
right,
suicide. You got people lost. You have people literally just trying to dope themselves out of the game, can't make it. I was just like, I can go that route, but look what's happening. So let me take the time to look at myself and listen to what Minister Farrakhan is saying, listen to what Dr. King was saying, listen to Brother Malcolm, Carter G. Woodson. You build this citadel of protection around you, and like the ancestors, people are like, oh, you crazy, you say the ancestors talking. Yeah, they talking, they saying stand up.
That's right.
So
yes,
when
sir.
You're confronted with that, when you're confronted with that, it's this, how can I quit? I mean, I'm reading about literally like slave rebellions that people don't really know about. And I ain't talking about Nat Turner and Denmark Vesey and all them, Vesey and all them. I'm talking about people that you never even heard of. I can't recall some of the names, but the events. And you like, if they can stand up then, knowing that it was a suicide mission, or believing that they would, in that one event, was going to turn around their destiny, how can I, in the 2000s, not stand up now with the different advantages that we have? I mean, back then they didn't have this social media. They didn't have other ways to hook up and connect. So you're being confronted with so much. And it's just like, as a man, you're either going to stand or you're going to sit down.
I wanted to ask you about family for, this past year. How has family been a blessing to you during this year of you being, not physically incarcerated?
Oh, family. As you know, The Quran says your wife and your family will be attached to you, to paraphrase it. Family
Yes, sir.
is beautiful. It's a challenge because you realize that no matter how hard it is, you have a nephew or you have a significant other or you have a sister or a brother that you have to be accountable to in an act of love, in an act of service, because you've been gone for so long. I mean, you done missed so much. I
Yeah.
remember the first time I ever saw my oldest nephew. He's 8. I still remember when he was maybe like a year old. My second nephew, he's 5. He was born. I was incarcerated. I only met him when I came home.
Man.
So you see the time that's passing. You know, when I look at those young boys, you know, I'm getting emotional right now. I tell myself, no matter what happens during my day, no matter what happens when I walk out here and, you know, don't get the result I want, or no matter how frustrated I get, I owe it to myself. I owe it to the creator. I owe it to those little boys. I owe it to my family, the people who invested in me, to do something different than what it is expected. And they look up to me. They love me. So how can I do anything different than what the ancestors are telling me to do, what the creators are
That's
telling
right.
me?
That's right. You know, that brings me to my next question. We've got a beautiful sister that organizes with her. Her name is Anika Fields. So Anika, if you see this, just know that you're on our mind. She put out a book. Her and her son put out a book regarding journaling, and a part of the journaling process, you talk about gratitude. So whenever she's on, she asks us for 3 things that we're grateful for. For you, Brother Omar, how important is gratitude for you? And could you give us 3 things that you're grateful for? So how important is gratitude for you? And if you don't mind, could you give us 3 things that you're grateful for, brother?
Gratitude is very important. I think this month is men's mental health awareness month, if I'm correct. Someone that I knew growing up, we were close, then we kind of lost track.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bring up his name, but he committed suicide recently. And not to judge him or to look down on the situation, but when you think about the extremes of maybe what can push somebody that far, it's just like being grateful can really check you. Not to say that other issues don't contribute to that, but being as grateful can really check a lot of those negative feelings
Yeah.
and thoughts. It's like, look, even if I may have lost my job, may have lost my woman, at least I have my health.
That's right.
You know, and if I don't have my health, at least I have the ability to keep going. So it's always something that someone else doesn't have. You know, I think it was a quote where it said a man said he was complaining about not having shoes. He saw someone who didn't have legs.
That's
I mean,
right. Yes, sir.
it's always this man ain't got no leg. You talk about not having shoes, right? So
yeah.
And I'm just grateful for the ability to be in this space in my life where I made it to the other side of the wall and I'm still here. I'm not destroyed. I'm not broken. I have a long way to go. So I'm still here. I'm grateful for this platform, the support that you give to the community and people like me. Also for the support of the wonderful Black women in my life. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be, to be
Yes,
honest.
sir.
I would not be who I am, you know, and no matter what's going on with me and my significant other, the ups and downs, or what's going on with me and any other women in my life. Because women can test you now, sisters. Y'all know, y'all very supportive and loving, but the test sometimes in a relationship,
you don't know until you get in one.
That's right. Hey,
but it's beautiful. I'm grateful for that. The test, the beauty of it, the fire that brings out the purity in a man. And I'm also grateful, in closing, I would say, just the ability to be grateful. Because I know I listened to some people, even when I was incarcerated, they would just complain about, if I had this, if I had that, then so much things would be. And they're like, well, look, you don't have this, but you have more than what someone else has.
Teach.
I think the Creator for giving me, in all humility, I would say that the ability to be grateful, because I could complain about, look, I want things to move a lot quicker, but when I paroled, I have somewhere to live. I could be talking about how I wish I had my own crib right now. I wish I had my own place, but hey,
yes, sir. That's right.
People who paroled and their family wouldn't take them in, whether that was deserving or not. You got to sleep on the bench. So I think the Creator for giving me the ability to be grateful, and I'm really grateful for that.
Before we wrap up, because we're going to tie up some loose ends, we've got some upcoming things that's going on in Toledo, and also want to talk about the 4th of July. People may not realize that the 4th of July is also the birth date of the Nation of Islam too. So we're going to be doing some things on the 4th too.
And it's my anniversary for my art brand.
Okay, you would have to steal all my shine. But yeah, so we're gonna be doing something on the 4th too, not honoring our former slave masters and their children. But we wanted to ask you regarding self-care. That's one of the things that we do. We budget time that either we're gonna do something together outside of this, or we're gonna split up and do something other than this. What do you do, Brother Omar, for self-care? What is it that you do to bring it all in, to rebalance so that you can be that bold lion warrior tomorrow? What do you do, brother?
That's a good question. First and foremost, I make sure that I'm learning more and more as I mature, and I get older, but you can get older and not mature. But as I mature, to not be afraid as a man to listen to my feelings, my emotions, what my feelings are telling me, to be aware of that. And my emotions may be, I'm frustrated, but why? It's deeper than just being frustrated or angry or sad. So what is that leading me towards? Is it telling me that I need to take a nap? That I need to pull back from a situation?
Yeah.
Do I need to go do a run? Do I need to go physical exercise or whatever it is? Being more aware of that, because I know that men, especially, Black men, original men, we're taught to keep going and keep going. And if you express what's really going within, you're playing the victim. So there's no safe haven. So giving myself that safe haven and then providing that with other like-minded people, even if it's just writing down some poetry, making a phone call, because that's very important. And then mixing that with the meditation and just positive reading, being in tune with the Creator, reading the Quran, the Bible. Like I said, the final call, that's most powerful. But I'm learning more and more, because you can even just do your run, you can go to hit the gym, and you still, it's not right. But not running from that voice on the inside, those emotions, those thoughts, those feelings, it don't make you a punk, it don't make you weak. Letting that guard down, like Freud was saying, a psychologist, people hide behind masks.
That's
taking
right.
those masks off. And even like I look at myself in the mirror and say, okay, I got 4 masks on. What am I really feeling? And how do I self-care and deal with that? That's very important, because if you don't, in closing, I would say, I'm getting emotional on that, because one of my elders, I told him before I left prison, you're older, you need to deal with your anger, because if you don't, it's going to get you killed. I'm leaving. I can't protect you like I used to. You got things bottled up in you. When you correct these younger guys who have daddy issues, uncle issues, just issues with themselves, you're going to be the issue. So when you correct them and being with humbleness and deal with your anger issues, take the mask off, because you're going to get killed. Unfortunately, he didn't listen and he got killed, murdered by someone who looks like him. This is a Black man, a much younger version of him, 30 years younger. It shouldn't even happen.
Yes, sir.
And so I know that if he would have self-cared and dealt with his issue of not to justify the murder, but just walking away from this. I'm angry right now, I'm gonna walk away. I'm using my brain as an elder to see that I can't put myself in a position with this guy who's so much stronger than me and who can take me out. Let me exercise some wisdom and discernment. I know he's a little young knucklehead. He's not doing what I want him to, but let me leave the situation. And I believe if he would have done that, he would still be alive today. So that's important, identifying that self-care issue, what's going on in the inside, emotional regulation, and then putting it into practice.
Well, it sounds like you've been really putting in some work, brother. And it's awesome to see you. It's awesome to hear from you. And listen, would you be willing to come back in the very near future and talk about some of the things that you're going to be doing in the community, and also to be able to inspire us to do more? You mind coming back?
Most definitely. I will. In closing, I would say real quick, Miss T, I know you probably be watching this. The Moms Against Murder movement, they chose me as one of the powerful leaders in the group. We all powerful. And they was like, look, we feel you're a powerful male leader. May 11, 2025, we're headed to Washington, D.C. to present the cries of the various mothers for justice to the seat of power. And a lot of people tired of marching. I get it. But when they called me, I couldn't say no. So Miss Tia, thank you for making me a part of the movement. That's one of the things I'm doing. And y'all support CSRN, because I'm going to tell you one thing in closing. I'm going to tell you one thing. Brother Washington, Brother Jody, they never been scared to give the voice to the voiceless. So support this podcast. Make sure y'all do that.
And congratulations.
Right. And you know what, brother, some of us try to minimize the movement by criticizing people for what they may call march, but it's really mobilizing. Mm-hmm. People used to criticize us for protesting, but it's mobilizing. There's intelligence in that march. There's people that are meeting people who they may not have met without that march. If we have a protest or a rally, there's people that are meeting and networking together who would not have been able to meet. Yep. So if you're scared to march, well, stay in the house. If you're scared to mobilize, well, just stay on the porch. If you're scared to come out when you see us rallying or protesting, look, there's intelligence, just as in the embryo, in that cell, in the middle, it might look like a blood and snot, but it's life in the middle of there. But to the untrained eye, it looks like a march. To the untrained eye, it looks like a protest. So you just drive on by. Well, we didn't need you anyway. All right. You would have just slowed us down with your scared self. Or you would have just robbed the people of the spirit of unity and revolution. So keep yourself where you are. All right.
Look how it started.
But we don't accept cowards. We don't accept weak talk. So if you have anything to say about my protest, about my march, how we mobilize, how we move, how we protest, how we organize, man, look, miss me with that. Miss me with all of that, brother. Do what you're doing. We say even in our guiding principles, we use the best tools and practices and tactics, and we leave Uncle Tom Handkerchief Head weak-kneed Negroes behind. We no longer need those tools. All right, those are tools for our enemy. We leave those tools behind because they no longer serve us. So much love and respect for you. Much love for, is it Miss T?
Miss Tia Williams and the Moms Against Murder movement.
Miss Tia Williams and the Moms Against Murder, man. Keep your foot on the neck of our oppressor. Keep your foot on the neck of those that look like us, that want to advocate for our former slave masters and their children. We don't need them. We've never needed them. We don't need their help. We don't need their numbers. I don't need to be acknowledged by them. We don't need anything from them.
Where's that clap button?
Yeah, we don't need nothing. So that's dear to my heart because this is the hardest time to organize because the popularity of 2020 is gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
The popularity of the protest culture is gone. So now it just reveals who's true.
Yeah. Once in the presidential
election. Absolutely.
Make sure y'all grab that little clip he just said and turn that into a commercial right there.
Absolutely, man. Look.
We're working on it.
I love the people that are organizing today because it's younger people, and being young doesn't mean that you're under 30. It just means that you're willing to think different, man. People are getting ready to decide if they want to elect a racist or a rapist. All right. And that's our black job, all right, to elect a rapist or a racist. That's our black job. I can just imagine how they focus group that black job thing in their little in those conference rooms.
The old and the restless.
Yeah, look, man, look. You deserve the right to vote for none of the above. We fought for the right to not vote too.
Yeah.
All right. 0 is a number 2. You can have a vote for 0, no confidence.
Yeah. And as an elected official, that is literally
that's a vote. That's a vote too, man.
You can ask and say, I don't believe none of these
candidates
would serve my country the best. But that doesn't mean don't go vote. It means everything below that.
Look,
your local stuff.
Get involved local. Yeah. Get involved locally instead of this celebrity.
I don't like them and I'm not voting. No.
Instead of that celebrity worship stuff. All right. And you and I both know, and we're gonna take a break because I'm just beside myself.
We'll find a way to clip that segment.
Yeah, we know that they are selected. They're carefully selected before we even elect them. And when I say elect, we even use that term loosely.
Yeah.
So
percents on percents.
Yeah, I said what I said. It is what it is. They know where I'm at. Yeah, they could pull up if they want, but we gotta do better by our children, rather than feed them the same lies that we've been fed. We got to do better for our children so that they could be thinkers. That if they do want to be involved in politics, then we can grow our own candidates.
Yep.
We can financially support our own candidates' campaign and re-election campaign so that they won't need special interests.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that if that's what we want to do. If you want to do it like big boys and big girls, everybody else does. We're the only people that just vote.
Yeah.
And we don't invest in any candidate. We don't write any type of legislation that they vote on. All we do is vote for them. Somebody else bought them and pay. They're already sponsored by big pharma, big tobacco, big guns, big war, big prisons,
fire department.
And all we do is vote for them. That's all we do. So, hey, brother, listen, we gotta take a break and then come back because we gotta shut it down. We're about an hour 5 into the podcast. Brother Omar, brother, we love you. We love Moms Against Murder. We love our sister Williams and what she's doing. Don't stop. Oh, I was going to say, don't stop, get it. But you are in Florida, so y'all know about that. Y'all know about that anyway. Brother, we love you, and we look forward to seeing you soon, okay?
Love y'all too.
Yes, sir. Hey, family, this is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. We'll be right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant, inpatient, and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
And we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. I want to thank our brother Omar Gent from freeourbrothers.com and Bold Lion Warrior on Instagram. He had posted that Brother Washington was on fire, roasting the critics of the movement. And that's my job as one of the elders. I know you guys are cowards. I know how you move, and when I'm talking about those of us that the 60 to 75, those of us that know better, and I know you know better. All right, I know where the bodies are buried. I'm old enough to know it all. So when you criticize the movement, you're criticizing the future of our young people. Who are you to think that we should play by the old playbook that's gotten us into this situation, Jody? You know, so yeah, that's that. All right. So hey, family, we are back. It's time to tie up some loose ends and really dive into some of the things that you've been involved in. It's a couple of things I want to mention, Jody. But what are some of the things that you've been involved in, or that you know that's coming up that we need to know?
All righty. So what's up, everybody? So last week, for that week, I was actually on set at the movies doing 12s and everything. This weekend, I was actually at work because Mud Hens were in town. We had Jamie Farr's birthday. So for the last 36 hours, I was at work and stuff. But, you know, there's some stuff that happened before the weekend, and I want to give a huge shout out to Kristen Moncrief, Nicola Welcomes, the Truth Art Gallery, Fletcher, and then all of the collective artists that's come along during the week for the Vision Camp. Every single day of the week, there has been a different letter based on something in the creative world, and we've had different creatives came. My night was Wednesday, along with Amber Phillips, and we taught the kids how to make dream boxes, and she gave them journals, and it was really, really awesome. All the kids got crystals. I told them about my career as an artist and everything, and performed. I grew up on PBS. I'll be back tomorrow to close the program out, which is, I guess this is my first kind of art camp thing that's went on for a couple of days. So besides the Northwest Ohio Teen Book Festival that I do every year, this was really rewarding in that aspect. I actually know some of the kids' parents, so it's the effect of.
So you that old?
Well, yeah, well, because of doing all this stuff. So realizing
man.
Like some of, I believe, Ra Frazier from Respect Your Crown, her children are in the program. So it was like, oh, I already know y'all. So here's some more free stuff.
That's right.
So tomorrow I'm going back and printing out books from The Lost Storyteller, the children's version, the manuscript that I wrote that I'll probably never publish. I might have it in like an insert in one of my books, but it's not going to be a standalone. That way I can always go to my printer, pull up my file, and print out a manuscript. And I like that manuscript because I actually create the cover individually every time. So I'm doing that. I believe a lot of the other artists and collective people that's been there through the week are going to come back to, I guess, help our kids graduate. That's so weird to say, but that's what camps are about.
That's right.
This week, if you were out and about, because that was about my only free time that I had to do anything outside of work, there was the Adams Street Block Party, which I've done for many, many years. And this year I didn't because I was at work.
Okay.
I used to be board member, and it was some good times volunteering and everything. Life has just shifted in a different direction to where I don't have the free time I did back then. But I hope they had a great block party and everything. There was also Friday, the 28th. There was the Black Gala audition and fundraiser show. I heard that went really well. Again, I was at work, so I couldn't make everything, but I try and promote stuff that's here locally and stuff like that because it's good. As long as it's not just come get drunk, try and support your event and everything like that best way I can. The WAKT Tower dedication happened on Sunday, July 30th. That was at 526 High Street. And then there was Sea Crystals and the Thrift and Sip. There was a Thrift and Sip with a whole bunch of vendors. One of the vendors gave me their event creation thing at Mommy Bay Brewing Company. And that, again, I think that is very good too. If you are a part of an event and you may not know these people that you're going to, create an event about it. Just make sure you give credit that this is not the main event and this is like you vending or sponsoring, so that way your collective crowd knows what's going on. I got quoted the other day while I was at the movie or doing the movie stuff, and they said, "You always say my," and I credit Della Stiles, who actually has a play coming,
That's
Stuck
right.
in the Rain Part 2 this year. I'm one of the sponsors in a sense on, but she told us in there that even though this is my play, I directed it and all the other stuff, and you guys are actors, this is your play. So when you introduce this stuff, it's my movie, my radio show and stuff like that. Is not nepotism because you work just as hard as everybody else on the show. Or doing whatever else you're doing for that part. And some people may be like, well, I'm not coming to an ensemble thing, but I'll come to your thing. So it's a way of wording stuff.
I get it. That's true.
Upcoming events this week. See, of course, we know this is the 4th of July and all of that stuff. There are fireworks all over the place. This year is definitely different than 2020. I believe we had fireworks starting back in, what was it, like May?
Yes, it was. At least in my neighborhood. Yeah.
I hear a couple of explosions every now and then, but it's kind of quiet. We'll see. I believe they are going to be downtown as well. You may find me or may not find me at the Glass City Park. Go over there where I celebrated the eclipse and some other stuff. You might smell some happiness in the air, but that's probably where I'll be. I know there's a lot of concerts and shows going on. The Code has something going on. Shout out to I think of the name, but one of my artist friends, I can't think of his name. It's not Boom Bomb. It's the other one. He's DJing at the Code, fireworks viewing. Yeah, Glass City Metro Park. And then they're pretty much all around the city. There is Foamcella. If you don't know what Foamcella is.
Yeah, what is Foamcella?
It's an EDM showcase hosted by Rave Toledo. We used to have all of the foam events at Main Street, which is where I kind of got into the EDM scene. And my artwork evolved from just being, well, it was never just artwork, but from having a one-dimensional vibe to a 3D movement vibe, because I learned from all those flashing lights and cameras how to make my art eyes blink, hearts beat, wings flap by rotating the different spectrums of light. So that's where I'll be. It's the biggest foam party in Toledo, Ohio. We're going to be at the docks. I'll be vending there. So I have my crystals, my hats, all that good stuff. This Saturday is also the July Lifeline Community Dinner, which is an event for, we hold it once a month. So held by Steve North, the longest going open mic in Toledo that rotates around and stuff like that.
That's
based
good.
on location. So you may see me over there. I also work. But there's some stuff going on all over the place. Dewey is this Sunday as well. Dewey School Supplies Drive. So right there on, I want to say that's Sylvania or Secor. What is it?
I think
710 South Reynolds. That's where it's going to be. 710 South Reynolds. They're doing a back to school supply drive pop-up shop. So hopefully you can attend that. I got, what else is going on? Yeah, so that's the most things that's going on until we come back. And then I'll be talking about all of the other stuff because I wouldn't want to oversaturate. I'm just going to use this little flyer right there. Bring it up to the screen. Make sure.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the big thing that's going on, which I'm also preparing myself for. I made a post last night. I've been doing this for so long, like coming into the studio. Not everybody kind of gets to do that.
Yeah,
and
true.
me, I go on autopilot. So I've been doing this forever. It's just like, it's just my day. It's like stepping in and clocking in for your taxable job. But other people, that may be there only once in a lifetime. So next week, I'll do all of the African American Festival push, let everybody know that you can't say you didn't see it or know what's going on at the Huntington Center, know there's the prayer breakfast, know that we'll be marching up and down door and all that stuff. I might be one of the honorees performing and vending, but that is one of the big things going on this month. Shout out to Suzette. We also got the Park Jam coming up in August. Shout out to Tracy Haynes and TLR promotions, all the other stuff. We're one of the sponsors on that event, so can't wait to see that next month, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Bike rides going on. I heard you might be speaking again for that.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I heard that.
So we got the bike rides, the concerts, and that takes us all the way into September. But there'll be more and more stuff about that. If you have any other events or anything like that, you're more than welcome to contact me or Brother Washington or the page itself. We do our best to scour our community, but we're only a couple people on the outside of this. So, hey, help us out. Let us know if you want to be a guest. I actually got something for that because as we are definitely a different type of talk show or show, I would say. We're not gossip. We're not opinion. We're not searching other people's articles and hard work to make up our own show about it. We actually interview the public. So I guess if you want to listen, here is a pitch that I'll be putting on our page very soon. And then when I'm out in the public and talking to people, it's kind of what we are as a show, our identity, because that is kind of big too. You may have somebody be like, hey, I want to be on your show. What do you talk about? I'm a rapper and I do trap, sale, drugs, stuff. And I just want to promote my new album. Sorry, brother. We're not going to have you on the show, but thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for telling me. So I'll be like, hey, I got this impressive person. What's his name? Boo Killer. I mean, that's his Facebook name. And then you come on show and that's his real name. Now, but basically, this is our elevator pitch. You're more than welcome to hit us up. We film every single Tuesday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Guests come on within the first half an hour. You can be virtual, but in person is an experience. Plus, you get gifts, newspapers, crystals, get to meet us in person with no green screen.
That's right.
We are not a gossip show or topic show. We interview people who may never get a chance to talk about themselves. Community Solidarity Response Network. Our background says all that is needed to be said. So, yeah, that's us. We'll work on that pitch a little bit better.
Oh, that's dope. All right, that's dope. All right. That's what's up.
My brother Washington, he's going to pay some bills. What did you do?
Oh, you know what?
Got the garden and all this stuff.
One of the things that's happening, let me share this on our page. This is the latest edition of the Final Call newspaper. And this edition on the headline says Our Independence Day. So I know you're wondering, hold on. I didn't know that the Black Muslims celebrated the 4th of July. Well, we don't celebrate the 4th of July as America does. On July 4th, 1930, that was when a man named Master Fard Muhammad started teaching Islam in Detroit. And out of all of the people in Detroit, Elijah Poole went to hear him talk. And after Elijah Poole went to hear Fard Muhammad speak. Fard Muhammad then started teaching Elijah Poole for 3.5 years, and then Fard Muhammad left. And from then, Elijah Muhammad, who was known at that time, would started teaching Islam to black people. Elijah Muhammad didn't get to the 4th grade. However, this is the same person that taught Malcolm. This is the same person that taught Farrakhan. This is the same person that taught Muhammad Ali. So if there's anyone in America that is worth their weight as Muslims, it's a great chance that they've come from the Nation of Islam. So on the 4th of July, we'll be celebrating, I think, the 94th year of the Nation of Islam being in existence here in America and all over the planet. So we thank Master Fard Muhammad for picking Detroit, the worst part of Detroit, in that Elijah Poole went to that meeting, listened to him, and then was taught by him for 3.5 years. Fard Muhammad left, and Elijah Muhammad would teach Islam to black people, teaches about ourselves, who we are, so that we're not just 5 prayers a day Muslims. We're just not standing in mosques Muslims. We out in the streets. We're advocating for our people. We know where we've come from, so we don't have to dress up like another people, all right, in order to teach our people. We don't have to adopt all of the customs of other people, you know. So shout out to the Nation of Islam, 94-year anniversary, July 4th, and join us if you'd like to join us. If you haven't been to a Nation of Islam meeting, join us this Sunday, Muhammad's Mosque number 91, 1698 Nebraska, 11 a.m. Our meetings are short because there's no music. It's just some straight facts, what we need to know about ourselves and how we can take really responsibility for ourselves. So I wanted to shout that out, and that's the this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. Says our Independence Day. God has come for the black man and woman of America. Check it out, page 2. So much brothers in the Nation of Islam. We will be out this Saturday with the Final Call newspaper. We were out on a hilltop last night in that area of Hill and Burn last night with the Final Call newspaper, knocking on doors, greeting and getting to know our people. Outside of that, what I also want to let people know that if you like what we do and if you want to support it, you can like, share, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. That way we get that thing in the mail letting us know that, yes, we have arrived, when really we're already there with 10 subscribers. All right. Yep. But like and subscribe to our YouTube page. If you want to get some of the Black Lives Matter signs, we've got some of those posted up in the library right now, as well as our defund the police signs up. If you want to follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Listen to us on Spotify until they start showing videos on Spotify, but I don't think they'll do that. So right now, listen to us on Spotify. Follow us on Twitter or
Apple Music. See, I could do one of the other streaming services. I don't know about the Bird. It's not the Bird no more. It's
X. It's X, but they still tweet. All right. It's X, formerly known as Twitter.
Like 100 characters.
But you can still tweet on X. Follow us on X. If you want to support us via Cash App, hashtag CSRN 419, or on PayPal, CSRN 419. And if you want to get your gardening on, join us every Sunday, 4 p.m., 300 block of Boston Place. That's the Eden Urban Gardening. Growing your own food is like printing your own money. You cannot miss us. We're the only garden with a defund the police sign in front and a Black Lives Matter sign. So you know what's up when you see those signs. Jody, I think that I've pretty much covered everything that I want to cover. Hey, don't forget to check out Anika Field's book on Amazon and get into journaling. Don't forget to check out my sister Aviance Hill in the Northwest Ohio, Parents of Murdered Children. Don't forget to check out my sister, what is her name? Deja Griffith and the Lean On Me Foundation. Check out these wonderful people. And also, once again, shout out to Barbie Huffman for painting our award-winning painting that we're going to see this painting soon.
Yep, we bought the entire collection.
Yes, we bought the wow. That's a big step. Yep, we bought the entire collection.
That is a big step.
It's going to be ours, and hopefully in the future, we're going to have our own art exhibit.
Yeah.
All right.
And even with the collection, we can lease it out to art museums or galleries for a fee.
Oh, that's what's up.
That's kind of the good thing. As you evolve as an organization, you learn that these things are treasures. They have value. So like most things in the world that you buy, you drive off the lot, your car immediately decreases the value. You put your shoes on, the first step you take, you cannot sell them back for the first
No, you
thing.
cannot.
You take a bite of food, nobody's going to give you a full refund in the food back. Well,
that's true. Okay.
So,
All right.
Things like organizations are kind of like printing money too, because the longer you go, the more you can say this is what we've done and why we deserve our seat.
All right. Hey, that brings us to the point of our podcast where we start to wrap things up and shut things down. And we do it in an unusual fashion. We have this thing called 5 minutes of heat. And we took that from the old Houdini song. That's a rap group called Houdini, not the magician. All right. It's Houdini with a W. All right. Not an H. All right. If you're born in with in the year 19 something, you probably know. All right. You probably know. I'm gonna say probably. And when we close out our meetings, we use creative expression. That could be someone singing a song like Nate Hicks. It could be somebody doing spoken word like Jody Summers, or somebody that raps like She Speaks.
Yep.
But today we've got our brother Jody Summers, who's going to execute spoken word. Brother, what do you have for us today?
So again, as people that get on my page and stuff know, I just ended and simultaneously ended the Men's Mental Health Month poetry, I guess,
I checked that out.
Of stuff. So it's been fun. I have a couple more pieces, one that people are not going to like so much, but it speaks truth. As my anniversary on the 4th, what do I celebrate? My artwork. 4th of July, 2017. It's first time there, filling a whole bunch of stuff, and I created my character, Stephen, who now is a published illustrator in real life, thanks to me making him that and putting him in the library system, which also goes to Congress. So the whole Pinocchio effect of becoming the real boy, even though I illustrated him with my arm, he's real to anybody else, and he's going to have his second book. So childhood trauma series, I'll probably start on that by the end of this month, volume 2, hopefully for a late August release. And this is poem 3 or 4 in the book called Peace of Mind. So let's begin. Peace. So I learned to stay away from people who did not want change, people who were always pointing the finger at someone else, people who were always ready to complain but never do anything when it came time to make change, people that stay in front or behind but never at your side, people who would give up every time they were told to decide. This took me most of my life and many miserable dead-end trails to circle back around and find out where I failed. I was becoming just like those people who would hear a tragic story and feel nothing, people that don't put thought into their actions, people that encase themselves in their own perfect bubble, people that shut off the rest of the world to accomplish one goal. By criticizing the things I did not want to become, I was also giving them my energy to what I would become. So I hugged everybody. At the very least, shook their hand to find out what made us what made us so different. A simple acknowledgement to the person right in front of me. Not all hugs, handshakes, or a simple hello led to anything past that. But many of my branches took root. They led to conversations, connections, organizations, a community of growth that I've seen on the uprise. So, the best thing I learned to do for myself was stay away from people until I found myself in peace.
And as always, we snap our fingers. We snap our fingers, Jody. Once again, as always, brother, you definitely making a big difference. And what is it? Stay away from the people who don't want to change.
Yep.
That'll get you killed.
That will.
Right.
It's the fastest way to make yourself feel unimportant by chasing things that don't belong with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as Brother Omar said, yeah, we're on a community of growth on the rise, brother. Yeah. On the uprise, rather. Not on the rise, on the uprise.
We're the adults now and the leaders now that we, as youth and kids, were like, what are they doing? Well, hopefully we're a lot different.
Yes, sir. And I can bear witness we are. But you know what? Hey, listen, we're going to shut it down. But as always, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter until
all Black lives matter.
Justice or else?
Yeah.
Peace.